right? The index accounts provides benefits linked to an external equity index and does not participate directly in the equity market. So while they sell you on the fact that it's the S&P or the Russell or these, because there's three options with mine, it doesn't mean that it's actually attached there. It's supposed to mirror it. But when it mirrors it and it doesn't specify that it's within the index, you give them the right as a company to tell you, yeah, the S&P last year did 22%, then why my account is only 2%? Oh, because it's not actually attached to it. It mirrors it, and we decide what we credit in that. We decide what we credit towards it. That's what this means, guys. In those 2 or 3 sentences, that tells you do you need to understand anything else in this damn policy? No, if you understand that, it tells you this sucks. That's the 2 best words. This sucks, right? Premiums, a lot of factors that hurt premium payments, which affect rate. So I must pay, look at this, it tells you, I must pay premiums on a regular basis to keep this policy in effect. The policy may still lapse if I do not have sufficient cash surrender value, right, in the policy and pay the next monthly deduction and index accounts monthly charge and have not paid enough premiums to meet the minimum no lapse premium requirement. That's a mouthful. That just says I'm paying a lot of friggin' money. That's what that says to a lot of different things. In that event, I would be required to pay additional premiums. After paying all this nonsense, I also might have to require additional premiums to just keep the policy in force, right? So let's move on a little because I don't want to take up too much time with every detail. Now, there's a second page to this, which I wanted to copy this morning that I caught to, and I wasn't able to, but I'll read this one sentence on the second part to this. Here's what it says at the very top: the excess, right? So it's like this, right? Excess index interest continued. The company may determine a different cap, right? Because these have caps. The most you can earn in interest rates, and of course, there's guaranteed and non-guarantees. We'll cover that in a second. So the company may determine a different cap for each segment and can increase or decrease the cap at its discretion at the segment anniversary. So every year they can change the cap. Do you think they're going to do it relative to your vision and your goals and your families? Hell no. They're going to do it relative to theirs, right? We determine the segments adjusted beginning value starting. So again, they have full control of this policy, right? Now, what time is it? Okay, so let me, I want to move because I want to also leave it open for a few questions at the end. So let's go to the next part here. Okay, this here, right now, this here starts the policy, my policy. Right now, there's a page before it. Again, I'm just skipping some of it just to try and get to the important parts of this and what you guys need to be paying attention to, okay? That first page I showed you is one page that it's hard to find. You got to know where to look for it. That comes with experience. This here is usually the first or second page of the policy. So you can't miss it, okay? Now, when you look at the first page of the policy, or actually this is the second page. The first page is just my name and a few other normal stuff. Notice number one, everything is in capital letters, right? One of the main reasons for that, at least I think, this is just my thought, is we're never taught to read all capital letters. We're taught big and small. So our brains are not adjusted to reading like this, which means we tire our brains out earlier, leaving it open to, yeah, that's fine. Whatever they told me is fine, right? Now, look what it says. There is no guarantee that any excess index interest will be credited above the guaranteed minimum interest rate for the index accounts, and there is no guarantee that the company will declare an interest rate greater than the guaranteed minimum interest rate, which, by the way, is 2%, for the basic interest account. Now, who really understood all that? Right? I know I did when I first looked at it, right? I literally, even me, I had to read this a couple of times to just break it down, right? The company may change the amount of the cost of insurance or either expense charges deducted under the policy. As a result, the company may require more premiums. So hold on a second. You're telling me pay this premium, I have this coverage. But you're also telling me we can change any of this anytime we want to, which requires you to pay more money, but you still may not have any coverage. That's what you just told me. What in the, can I say hell? Well, I said it, right? Right? What in the world are you talking about? You're leaving it wide open for interpretation and for you to have full power here, right? The policy may not mature even if the plan premiums are paid. Now, relatively speaking, a plan premium should be the premium, the highest that you should pay to start building cash value. But even if you're paying that, you may not have it. Ain't that something? Right? Look at this here. Look at this here, right? So I broke this down. This here is relative to my premium payments for $175,000. Okay, so if you look up here, and by the way, with the permission of your leaders and brokers, I can send this to you guys. I don't care. You can. I don't have a lot of my stuff except my policy or number. I don't care. Call them. I don't care. Right? You know. So I'll send it to you guys. I really don't give a nonsense about that. Just so you can use it. I'll even send it to Shaq so he can use it as a training guide and a training tool and all that good stuff. Okay. Now, Shay and Jen, I'll also scan a few more of these pages when I get this stuff fixed, and I'll send you a lot of the pages that are important in understanding, so you guys can also read up on it. So, but check this out. Look at this here. Premium, this here, the one thing with universal life policies and variable policies, they're very expensive. High expense ratios, right? So first you have a premium expense charge rate, guaranteed maximum 6% per thousand. So you're looking at, I'm sorry, 6% in this case times my premium. So if my plan premium is $275 a month, that alone is $16 that's being taken out for just a fee there. Then they give you another policy fee of $12 automatically. Then you get a per unit charge rate guaranteed maximum. So per unit means per thousand of premium, of coverage rather. So if I have 175,000 of coverage, is 175 times. That's how many units there is. So 52 cents times 170, that's another $91 for what? Just to charge me, right? Then you have expenses for what? For investing in the market. And it's not invested in the market. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some stuff? Think about that. You're going to charge me another 6% for investing in the global index account and the S&P 500, but it's not invested in there. That's another $33. So if you take a look at my total fees, 16, 12, 91, 33, $152 plus my cost of insurance, which I'm going to show you in a second, $177 in that first year out of the $275 I paid just in fees and cost of insurance, just in that. Ain't that something? So 64% of my premium is just on fees and expenses. One thing that agents will tell you is that you should never invest in the market because it's too expensive and too risky. I'm sorry. They ain't gonna ever charge me 64% in investing in a Class A share. The most I'll pay in that $275 is what? 5 3/4%. That's a Class A share. I'm paying 64% in yours. And you can't argue with that. You cannot argue that with me. So even if, and that's why I said here, right? Think about that. Right? So, and here are, every universal life policy has a surrender charge, which means that for the first 8 years of this policy being active, if I decide, 16 plus years, notice how they put plus years, right? So no, in the first 15 years, they will charge me. They'll take it right out of the cash value, no matter how much I put into it for having this policy. If I stop the policy and look at the cost, that's $22 per thousand. Per thousand. So even if I have 100 grand, because it's easy to calculate, that's 2,200. I have 75,000 more. So it's literally almost about $4,000 in the first year that they'll keep, even if my cash value accrued to that. For the first 15 years, they're going to get their share. Why? Because of the high commissions they pay, right? And then you have all the loan interest rate and all that kind of stuff, right? So I wanted you to see that. I know we're running closer to time. Now this here, every universal life policy, every one of them has to have this table. Has to by law. This here is a table of guaranteed cost of insurance rates. This proves that it is an ART product, annual renewable term. And if you take a look at it, right, I was 43 years old when I first got this policy. So if you look at 175,000 times this here is $25 that I'm paying. But what happens as I get older? 73. At some point, just moving fast, look what happens. 204, 294. At this point, my cost of insurance is more than my payment. It's more than my payment. When we go over a simple comparison and listen to Samir's training on it, he covers it. Two simple tables. When you want to define this or explain it to a client, you tell them universal life policy is broken up into two parts, really three because you have expenses, but we're going to put that to the side. If I pay $100 a month, in this case, if I'm paying $275 a month, they're going to charge me this amount for the cost of insurance, and then the rest of it goes towards the savings. So you can literally calculate it out by using this table to the tune of at this point, I am paying the cost of insurance is more than my payment that I'm giving. So what starts to happen? Where are they getting the extra money? Because the company's not just going to let it go. Where are they getting it? From the cash value. So it works like a bell curve. I initially increase some cash value, not a lot, but at some point it starts to cannibalize. The cost of insurance starts to cannibalize the actual money that I've invested over the first 20 to 30 years. To the tune of, look at this. By the time I'm 121, because I'm going to live to about 116, it's going to be $83 a month. Now, if you calculate this out, $83 a month cost of insurance times 175, because I have 175,000, it's $14,000 per month. Times 12 months, check this out. Times 12 months is $175,000 that I paid into a policy, in which case it matures, and at maturity, Gabrielle, they are required by law to give me the $175,000 death benefit. But guess what? I paid it myself. Why the hell do I need you? By that point, and they've already made millions between my premium payments, between them investing it, between everything they do with the money. They've already made millions. And in the last year, I still paid it myself. What a freaking crooks these people are, man. I mean, if this doesn't piss you the hell off, I don't know what else would. I mean, they're literally bending you over. They're doing bad things to you. It's just not right, man. It's just not right. And because you don't know any better, you take it. Right, guys, we all have a responsibility, a moral obligation to help families, to let them know what's going on out here. Now, here's how simple this is. If I would take this and compare it to what I can do, in this case for myself, right? Or let's assume this was a client you're sitting down with, right? Now, I already put it together. Hopefully, it might have died out by now. Let me just open it up, log out and log back in. So you go to your Quid Pro in the Primerica website. It's pretty straightforward. And guys, as I do this, you can ask questions, please. So you go to the Primerica website, and I'm going to finish this fast just for purposes of time. Right, and here's what comes up, right? I already did it earlier. Ay, bendito. So as it comes up, right? So I gave myself the age now, 175,000 in coverage. You know what the cost of that was at a preferred rate, which I also qualified on this? $51 a month. $51 per month was my cost of insurance for getting that policy. But I was paying with them $275. So what do? We take the difference. You take the difference, which in this case was $220 a month, and you invested. That's why it's critical for you to get your Series 663. Get your investment licenses, guys, right? And then what you can do once you have those licenses is come up with a plan, and check this out, right? This is something we calculated, right? This is using Morningstar, right? You can generate a report. And here's what the investment difference is. Everybody can see this, right? You on? Check this out. So if I took in the next 30 years, because it's a 30-year level term policy, and I invested the difference, which happened to be $224, right? 275 minus 51, $224 a month. And this is using American funds, the Growth Fund of American Fundamental Investors. Out of my pocket in the same 30 years, $83,552 out of my pocket. My fees associated with that was $3,300. Let's call it $3,400. My fees, but my investment is at $683,000, averaging 11.38%. So you tell me what makes more sense. And then there's no gimmick with this. This is, and we tell people this is not guaranteed for the future because we can never tell. This is a hypothetical, right? But if you look at the history of the market, it goes up and down. By the way, this included, if we go down here, included years like 2001, right? And 2008 at negative 39%. So we're not hiding anything. You still average 11%. Having $640,000 of money. I'm sorry, almost $700,000. Now, guess what? When I sit down with the family, I also have to confirm their situation. There are 3 questions you need to ask when it comes to determining, when it comes to offering the right type of coverage. The first question is, and I always ask when determining coverage is there a need? You have kids and all that stuff, that's an easy one to answer. Number 2, how much is necessary? So a lot of you, when you're new, you just focus on keeping the same premium, the same death benefit. That's not necessarily true. I need $1 million. I need $1 million in life insurance coverage because of the size of my family, the income we earn, right? 8 to 10 times. So I offer $1 million, and guess what? I did a comparison. $1 million of coverage is $220. So I can get 3 1/3 times the coverage for still less money than I'm paying with you for $175. Actually, no, almost 8 times the coverage for less money. Then we do a cost weight benefit, right? Wherever necessary, and making sure that the family. Now, if you're replacing a policy that they're paying that much, this is easy, right? If this is brand new, first time they have coverage and life insurance, you can go over this and give them options, right? Well, I'm not going to train on that right now, but that's something you can do. Now, how much would we make on this, right? You're a district leader, right? So 220, 220 times 12 months is, let's say 2,200 plus another 400. Let's say it's about 2,600. It's a little bit more than that, but let's say 2,600 at a 50% contract, $1,300, guys. $1,300 you can make in an hour. Let's call it 2 hours total. If you got to come back, sit with your upline and kind of make sure you're prepared properly, let's call it 5 hours. Where else are you going to make that kind of money? You sit down with 3 families, help one, you spend an extra 2 or 3 hours with that one you're helping, $1,300. The queens like Shay and Jen Lee, way more than that they make. Guys, as an RVP, my boo makes, because it ain't me, I'm a rep, right? She makes, freaking think about that, she makes over $2,500. Hey, you don't think it's worth spending the time and energy reading these things thoroughly? Look, you're dumb. If you don't do that, if you don't spend the time and listen to this video, not that I'm the best at it. I mean, listen to, there's so many great leaders here that go over this stuff. Spend the time, listen to it 100 times. I don't care. Be worth that. And then stay committed to getting better and putting in the time and the effort and all that stuff. So that's pretty much it. I can stop the recording. Any questions, guys?